After less than a year in charge, Steve Morison has been fired as Cardiff City manager. Here are my thoughts. That's right, we are barely into the international break, but the higher-ups at Cardiff have wasted no time in relieving manager Steve Morison of his duties. Get your thoughts in via the comments on this decision. Morison took over at Cardiff last season after the dismal start the Bluebirds experienced under Mick McCarthy. Cardiff lost 8 in a row. That saw McCarthy go, and Morison stepping up from the under-23s, first off as interim boss, before converting to the role permanently. Cardiff were at 11 points from 14 games when Morison stepped in and ended the season comfortably safe in Morison's 32 games. That season he scored 42 points, so the points per game went up pre-Morison from 0.78 to 1.31, and Cardiff were 14th out of the whole league in Morison's period in isolation as manager. Towards the end of the season, Morison was given an extended contract, although only to the end of this season, kind of working a year at a time. But it was the summer transfer window where he appeared to get his players and his backing, a wholesale reset of the Cardiff playing squad with 17 players arriving, but fairly little was spent. Morison set about knitting together this brand new Cardiff squad, but after just 10 games he is out. Cardiff managed 3 wins in that period over Norwich, Birmingham and Middlesbrough, but I haven't convinced. Only Preston have scored fewer goals than Cardiff in the entire league. Despite that goals issue, the points per game is over 1, which is survival and something to build on. The defensive side looked promising, with the XG conceded the 4th best in the division. Obviously, that acknowledges there is a balance issue between these defensive and attacking numbers. As a player, Morison always gave as good as he got. Plenty of my Millwall friends suggested that criticism fired from the stands at him was returned often with interest as well. The idea of this chippy side did come out in Morison's recent press conferences and dealings with opposing managers. And I'm sure we all remember during one of those watch-alongs on the channel his brutal hooking of striker Max Waters very early on in a live Sky TV game. A very short statement from the club came out today saying Morison was relieved of his duties. Mark Hudson is in temporary charge. I know no more than that. Although given how early it is in the season, the fact that so many players were added in the summer and the results haven't been utterly terrible, I think one can assume there could have been some kind of disagreement behind the scenes possibly here. If not, this would appear to be very ruthless from the owners, with such decisions either ending up looking very insightful and perceptive or very foolhardy, depending on what happens. No real grey area on these early sackings. I do feel badly for Morison. I always liked him as a player, but I do know that whatever has gone on, he certainly would have fought his corner very vociferously, knowing his personality. So maybe, look, it just wasn't to be this combination at this time. He's very young in coaching terms, and his playing career means he must have tons of contacts all over the place. So I'd imagine it wouldn't be too hard for him to get back in. All of that said, this one did take me by surprise as I was walking around HomeSense with the missus and the baby when it broke. So since that Premier League relegation, 2 relegations ago, in fact, in 2014, we've had Slade, Trollope, Warnock, Harris, McCarthy, Morison, all fired by Cardiff. At the moment, we do seem to get the same list from the bookies, whichever job comes up. Jones, Dyche, Warnock, Pulis, Warne lead the betting lines. Get down there in the comments then. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think of this decision? What next for Morison? And, I suppose, most importantly, what next for Cardiff? This is our second sacking this week. You can click here to see what I had to say about the first, as Danny Schofield got the axe earlier in the week at Huddersfield.